Hi, I'm Mark, developer of the HeroQuest Card Creator, and I'm really keen to share with you the progress I'm making on one of the features that I've been probably promising for quite a while now. I just want to start by saying that I have been absent for around about 4 or 5 weeks, having worked on the tool since middle of December of 2025, right up to the end of March. I felt fairly burnt out. I had in my head the vision of where I want to take the app with a number of major releases or a number of minor releases planned. But again, having worked it for 3 months flat out, I really felt burnt out and couldn't think straight. I had to take the time to step away for a bit and regather my thoughts, just to ensure that I was building the right thing and focusing on the right thing and doing it well. I also took some time out to spend with family and some vacation and childcare, that kind of thing. But over the past few weeks, my thoughts about what I want to develop next in the app became really clear. So I wanted to show you the progress I've made so far in developing decks. So if you've seen the roadmap, you may have seen decks mentioned, and you might be wondering what that is. Well, when I first started building the app, I always had the vision of decks. It's a prerequisite to exporting to PDF, and I'll explain why shortly. And while I developed the app, because I knew decks were going to be so far off, I implemented collections. You can see collections here when we go to our cards, and I implemented this a list. It started as a list, kind of like buckets or labels that you could put cards into, and then it turned into a bit of a tree view. And that was always a temporary solution because I immediately felt the pain of having 30, 40, 50 cards, and I knew that they were all kind of related, and I just needed some way to kind of connect them together. That was never meant to be a long-term solution, but it certainly helps as a bit of a place to help you navigate and manage and plan and organize your cards as you're developing them. But collections was always a temporary solution, really. The intention was always to have decks as the real solution. So let me kind of now explain what decks are. Decks are a way to help you manage the cards in a more meaningful way. It's probably easy to demonstrate and explain the concept behind it. I click here and add a new deck. Let's call this master deck. And you'll see straight away I've got this empty deck here. I can double click on this, and immediately you'll see there are 2 sections on this UI. There's a section here telling me to drag back faces from the right hand panel, which is not open at the minute. And there's a big section here telling me to select a group. This will make more sense when I show you this. So when I click this plus here, you'll see that I've got all of my back faces that I've created. This is where collections does come in handy. I can filter all of the back faces by the collections that I created. So collections aren't wasted. It's going to help you to find the cards you need when you're creating your decks. I'm going to start with the inventory collection because this is primarily one of the decks that I'm working on now, or will be soon. And probably the easiest one to start with is the treasure, because this is a set of cards that I already have printed and I use actively already in my sessions. So we start by dragging this over to here. There are still improvements I need to make to the UI. This is work in progress, and I drop it. So immediately you'll see that we have this kind of section here. This is our group, this is our set. And this is where collections come in handy. We have collections and we have pairing. Because we have both of those things, the moment I drop this back face into my deck, the app is able to go off and find all of the cards that are already paired and bring them in. I can, of course, add more if I wish. So let me, this is obviously going to be wrong, but I'm going to drag in this card here. And the moment I do drag a card in, it's going to be both paired and added to this set. But I'm going to remove it because I don't want that in there. So the first thing you'll notice is that the cards are in some kind of random order. I think it's the order that they were created. But again, this is a convenience. It's brought in all the paired cards for your convenience. So what I can immediately start doing is moving these cards around. Obviously, this is never really going to affect print. You know, once you print in batch, you print all of your cards and all of your fronts and backs. It doesn't really matter what order they're in when you start cutting them out. This is more about mentally and visually helping you scan and confirm and validate that you have all your cards, that you haven't missed any, that kind of thing. I can look around and move these cards around, reorder them. So I'm just going to pull in a few of the others that I have. These are the threats that we have in this particular deck. So when you're searching for treasure, not only do you have all of these artifacts and potions and things, there are also threats. I think that's all of the threats. Now, one of the other benefits of having decks is the idea that I can increase the number of quantity that I have in any given set. We couldn't do this with collections. In collections, it's a one-to-one pairing. You can't really, when you print it, there isn't really a way to print in bulk and say, hey, I want X number of this card. I had thought about it. Could I do that with collections? And it would have felt half-baked. It wasn't the real solution. This is why decks is important. Now, for this particular deck, for this set, the treasure set, I'm able to increase and specify that I want, let's say 5. I think in this treasure deck, I should have 5 Wonder Monsters. I'm going to put 4 spirits in there, maybe 2 of each trap, and the rest I'm going to leave. I might add, what's that, Goblin's Gold. Let's keep that as it is. I'm sure there's a chest. Oh, there's some gold there. Let's increase that by 3. And yeah, there's a gold chest. We'll increase that one as well. So now that's our treasure set and our master deck complete. Were I to have the next feature, which is PDF export, and I had that magical button and I press it, the expectation would be that this would all be laid out. All of the cards, front, faces and back, would be duplex ready, all aligned, and the number that I specify, it would prepare in a PDF document. But this isn't a very big deck. I actually have more that I want to add. So I'm going to go back to my treasure deck. No, that's interesting. Those cards must be missing from the deck. Let's add them while we're here. We'll just move that one to there. Move that one to there. And we'll move that one to there. So you saw there that those cards were in the collection. They must have been in the collection, but not paired to this. I must have accidentally unpaired them at some point. I do want them in this, so it's a good job that I checked. Yeah, so let's go down to we'll go back to back faces. What we're looking for, if I go to inventory, I want to start adding some of these. Treasure isn't a deck by itself, it's a set within the deck, and that's an important difference. I'm now going to add some of these. So let me add armor. You'll see I dragged the armor into this section here, and I now get 2 groups, 2 sets. You might be wondering, what are these groups and what are these sets? Well, a set hopefully is obvious. A set is a set of cards. You'll see here I've got this set armor, and what you'll notice is we also have ethereal cloak, dwarven ring and elven cloak in this set. It also exists in this set too. There's elven cloak, for example. Why am I doing this? And again, this is important. This is the thought process I have about why I built this way. The way that my kids and I run sessions, we have our own treasure deck, and then just like with the base game, we turn the cards over and we see what we get when we do a search. But the difference is that when we play, we like to hold on to those cards. So I've probably seen it somewhere. Someone else suggested doing this. I have this idea of inventory sets, an inventory deck. So when you find something from the treasure deck, if it's a weapon, if it's armor, if it's a potion, whatever it is, you can then look through the inventory deck and you can find that card and you can keep it with your character's card and your character sheet. Obviously, this is something you could write in your sheet. My kids tend to be, with them being so young, my kids tend to be very visual. So holding onto those cards makes it feel like they have it, they own it. And this just feels natural. I mean, it's something which obviously isn't supported in the base game, but it's something that I like to do. So on that note, actually, if we go to armor, let me just drag another one on. We'll do something like potions is probably a better one. I'm going to move potions on. We now have a new group with 1 set. And the words group and set, again, I'll explain why I'm using those words and why it's important. Potions are different. I'm definitely going to have a few of these potions because, and specifically in this group, in the potions group, the inventory group, because if I've got 4 players and they each find a portion in the treasure deck, they're going to want to hold on to it. So let's just add 4 like that. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. What I'm going to do is I could just add all of these and you'd see them all lined up, but this is going to get very big, and it's like, how do we organize it? How do we manage all of these kind of sets of cards? So what I added was this. I could just drag weapons here, but I can also drag it over the top of the existing armor and drop it on there. What we now have is the 2 sets more organized. And again, I'll demonstrate another deck that I have, and this will become kind of more clear. This is my mental model, and I think this is generally how probably most people will want to organize their sets of cards. I have my treasure card, my treasure set, I have my armor and my weapons, but they're kind of related. Armor and weapons are kind of related. I would also consider that maybe alchemy is maybe related to kind of potions, and maybe charms is maybe related to potions and alchemy as well. And then I think I'm going to put tools with armor and weapons, and I'm going to put the rest in another group. But really what I wanted to demonstrate here was, and again this is what I've been building up really for months, was the ease at which you can build decks. You can very quickly, assuming you've built all of your cards and you've kind of used collections to manage them over time and you've paired them together, this final step of creating decks and the drag and drop is something that I was really keen to get in, and this is why it's really taken so long. I wanted that feel of very rapidly putting together kind of this collection, this group, these sets of cards, and having a really nice clean way to manage them and organize them. Let me just check artifacts, scrolls and tomes, gems. Yeah, so that, if I were to treat that, I consider that a deck. That's a pretty good deck. I would print that out and I would use it. It's kind of like it's the connection there is that you're searching for treasure, and then you have this kind of inventory, these inventory groups, these inventory sets. This is something that I'm definitely going to flesh out a bit more, but I think that was a good deck to demonstrate the features as they are now. I do want to demonstrate another deck that I've built, and that is, let's demonstrate both. This is just going to demonstrate again the idea of grouping the cards. So I might have a new deck. I've called it my deck, good name for a deck. And just like with a lot of the expansion packs, this deck is going to have skills, and like you can see, I've grouped the skills, the wizard skills, dwarf, elf and barbarian. That's a good example of how I might want to group those cards together. You can see when I click on barbarian skills, I have 3 here. I actually have more images, I've just never gotten around to creating the cards. And I believe I do have the images for the others, but again, I haven't gotten around to creating the cards. You'll notice that in this deck as well, I have treasure, and all of the cards are there. That must be the pairing that I removed. So that's just a visual cue for me to let me know that there's a bug that I need to fix. But you'll see that I have all of the cards that are in treasure as well. I can, for this particular deck, maybe remove some, or I can add more. But again, the concept is that it's giving you the ultimate flexibility to manage the arrangements and connections between all of these cards in different ways, in different decks for different purposes. I didn't want to tie it and lock it in to any particular kind of rigid structure. The other thing I've got here is my skills. My spells. I've got my spells cards. I don't think I've created any of the others apart from, I have ice. So I have 4 ice spells here. You'd only expect 1. If you really wanted to, you could add 2 or as many as you want. But in this instance, I'd probably only expect 1. And like I demonstrated earlier, I could remove one of these if I wanted. Or I can add it back. But again, hopefully that demonstrates the flexibility you have with managing how to repurpose your cards and the collections and the pairing and organising the groups and the sets. I feel like I'm probably just waffling on now. I'm excited to get this out, and equally I'm excited to get the next release out after that, which is the export to PDF and print ready. But this has to work first. Hopefully this will be coming in the next few weeks. Worst case, it's going to be a month. In the meantime, hopefully this video has been valuable. If you do have feedback or comments, please do reach out. Your feedback is invaluable. It really helps me to shape the features that I work on, and some of your ideas are brilliant. They really help me to take a different perspective on how people are working with the cards, the kind of things they want to do to create their cards. And yeah, I'm genuinely also interested in the things you create. If you're using my tool, I love to see the cards. I love to see the enthusiasm and excitement for those people just like me who are not really designers and can't really kind of spin up Photoshop and just kind of knock these things out. I built this because I'm not really a graphic designer at all. I built this because I need this for an outlet to express my ideas. So please, yeah, do share what you have, reach out, give me feedback. Hopefully this all made sense and it's valuable for somebody. Stay tuned and I should have this out soon. Thanks.